Welcome everyone. This is the first Verse AMA we've ever done. We've got a special guest here today who's going to give you the lowdown on some of the questions that you guys have been answering. Some of the questions you guys have been asking across Telegram, Discord, Twitter, maybe Instagram. I don't know. Do people ask questions there?
I don't think so. I think Twitter and Discord.
Twitter's probably the place. Yeah, Telegram too. So let me quickly introduce myself. Some of you guys may have seen me on the YouTubes before of the Bitcoin.com channel. My name is Corbin Fraser. I'm the head of financial services at Bitcoin.com. Been with Bitcoin.com now for 4 and some odd years. Basically just kind of minding the product side of stuff on the financial services. So anything on the wallet, buy, sell, swap, and just making sure everything we put out is user-friendly and easy for normal people to come in and start playing around with crypto. And I've got with me today Andrei Terentiev. Did I pronounce your last name right?
Yeah, you nailed it.
All right. Why don't you quickly give me the background on who the hell is Andrei? Why should we care? And honestly, I don't even know where you're from, man. I know you're from the States, but I forget which state you're from. Are you Texas or are you California?
It's a little bit of both. Kentucky's in the mix there as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, my name's Andre. Well, you know that, but I'm the director of engineering at Bitcoin.com. I've been here for 2.5 years now. Then me and Corbin have been working together basically that whole time. Before that, I had my own company called O3. So O3 was another cryptocurrency wallet. We were building primarily on the Neo blockchain. So we were working on that from 2017 up until the time we got acquired and joined Bitcoin.com. And I think some people out there, still using the O3 wallet, and that project has actually continued as more of a community project. So that's cool to see. From the engineering side, my background is primarily in mobile engineering. So when it came to Bitcoin.com, originally was doing a lot of the iOS stuff, but had done Android stuff as well. And then kind of just been growing as the engineering team has been growing, and now sort of leading the engineering organization. Outside of that, I guess back to your original question I grew up I'm from the States. I grew up in Kentucky, actually for 15 years, and then went to university in California at Stanford, did computer science there, and then came to Japan, how has it been? 6-ish years ago. I've been around here for a while, and met a lot of people there now at Bitcoin.com throughout the time there. I worked at another company called Cash. I was the second mobile engineer there. So that's kind of like for, US users, Venmo and stuff like that. It's one of the, I think it's a unicorn officially since
they got the big.
So yeah. Kind of interesting. When I was there, it was only, 10 people or something. Now it's like a crazy unicorn. So maybe, I think Bitcoin.com might be on the same journey. So
yeah, that's cool, man. Very cool. What about maybe just a follow-up question. I guess why did you go the Neo route? I guess what brought you into the Neo chain? I guess how did your crypto journey kind of start? Who I don't know, orange pilled you, blue pilled you? We're on Verse now. I guess we're blue pilling people now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so, 2017, I guess, I don't know, it's going to be interesting, what our viewership here is, because there's, distinct generations of people, I think. There's
for sure.
OG, Bitcoiners, and, people have been around, since the beginning, Roger and stuff like that, and then maybe people that have, sort of joined in the Ethereum. There's kind of a phase between Bitcoin and Ethereum, and a lot of people that came in then. And then I would say maybe I'm coming in that 2016, 2017. Maybe that's the first real mainstream crowd that is joining crypto. And but even then, right? Like, I mean, to a certain degree, basically all the problems that existed with Ethereum today of high fees, like congestion, all this stuff. I mean, it existed 5 years ago too, right? And not to say like
Yeah.
it's people aren't working on trying to solve those problems. So there's been a lot of advance in L2s and things like that, but even then, people were starting to think, okay, well, there's probably going to be more blockchains than Ethereum, right? So I think around that time is when you started, having some competitors like Neo, Cardano, Cosmos, and like a lot of those were kind of like either launched or kind of starting out to, I don't know, the formulation of those were starting up. Like,
Yeah.
Now you have BNB chain and, Avalanche, Polygon, Phantom, all these things.
Yeah.
So even then was kind of trying to think, okay, well, this probably, although Ethereum is going to be big and it is big, it's probably not the only one. And yeah, Neo kind of represents more, at that time, more of kind of a hybrid approach or kind of doing this kind of like validator based, like, Binance Smart Chain and things like
Yeah.
that. So that was kind of how I got involved there and was working with their team a lot in those years. And then, yeah, obviously, I'm sure everyone knows that if you were in crypto 2018, 19, 20 is pretty rough time in terms of
Bleak.
interest in crypto.
Yeah, we were kind of still like, "What? You guys are still doing crypto? What's
Yeah.
I thought you guys were all dead after that crash." Like, nah, we're still
So,
around.
yeah. So I think there's a good amount of people that kind of like were in that, let's say I'm part of that generation where like starting out there, and then a lot of people dropped off, but we kind of chugged our way through that entire period until we joined Bitcoin.com. And like, yeah, basically, I guess 1 year, was it 1 year? When was like COVID crash? After that,
Yeah,
you kind of had this new resurgence, right?
yeah,
And now you see like kind of I don't know, the fruits of that like kind of multi-chain stuff coming together where stuff like Avalanche and Polygon and all the DeFi summer and all this kind of stuff is like kind of huge now. So yeah, just been kind of going along with the wave there, and yeah, that's kind of crypto origin story, I guess.
yeah. No, I think that's great. I think we have you and the team that that came over from Neo to largely thank for having such a great wallet. I mean, if you're a Bitcoin.com OG, you may recall the old wallet, which was a little bit, I don't know, clunky. It worked. At the time in 2017, 2018, it was like, man, this is pretty user friendly compared to some of the old ones. But now looking back, it's just like, oh man, we've come a long way. So, I think we have, guys like you and Alex and, John and Andreas and countless guys on the wallet team that have really kind of pushed the envelope. And, we're at a point now where, yeah, we've got this great Bitcoin.com wallet that's supporting now Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, ERC20 tokens. We've got Wallet Connect. We've got several low fee chains in the works, which I think everyone's very excited for. And I think we're just doing everything we possibly can to support, as much of the growing crypto community as possible, and make sure Bitcoin.com's there to capture, some interest from whatever community you're a part of, which I think we're all kind of on board. So we've got a bunch of questions here to talk about Verse. Maybe before we start talking about some of these AMAs and going through, this list of questions here, and try not to read it too much robotically. Maybe give me the lowdown. What do you call, like, what is Verse? If I'm explain it like I'm five. What is Verse?
Yeah, I mean, I think Verse is interesting because it's a lot of things at once to a certain degree. So I think like the first obvious thing is the Verse token, right? So, we're going to have a token sale. Bitcoin.com is having its token sale, and that's going to be kind of the official token for the Bitcoin.com ecosystem and community. But, outside of that, I think it's a lot of things, right? So one of the things we kind of see is kind of how I described my crypto origin story. I think we actually see a lot of users kind of take a similar route, right? So they might be coming into the space and being like, okay, I have no idea what I'm doing. And then, their first experience is probably, I don't know, buying crypto with a credit card or something like that. And then gradually they expand into a lot of things where it's like, oh, now I can do this, I don't know, yield farming, or I can do the staking, or I can do all this trading and stuff, right? And I think that is kind of, what we're picturing as like, they're introducing themselves and getting involved in like the crypto verse, right? So they start off as a person just buying something, and then maybe 1 to 2 to 3 years down the line, they're like the person that is, yeah, okay, I got to get this APY on this new chain, on this new protocol in order to, maximize my yields.
Yeah.
And, we're basically trying to create that journey for the end user, where the Verse token is kind of part of every step. And then eventually they're going to be sort of exposed to this entire cryptoverse of using decentralized exchanges and maybe doing lending and borrowing and trading NFTs and all of these kind of things. So we kind of want to build this vertical integration for these new users so that, they can kind of have this, they can have their own crypto origin story, and that the Verse token and kind of the end game of kind of exploring the cryptoverse is where they end up.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great description. I think we've seen people, we've got over 11,000 people now in the Verse Telegram. We've got, I think, 18,000 in Discord or something like that. Tons of users now, learning about what Verse is and what it's going to be. I think the cool thing is that Verse is basically for everyone, wherever you are in that like crypto journey. If you're brand new, it's a reward token where you can basically be incentivized to do stuff across, the Bitcoin.com platform. If you're, someone who's a little bit more knowledgeable and like Andre was saying, who's like a little further down that journey, you're starting to like look for things that you can do with your crypto, perhaps earn some yield on it, and actually get some nice little passive income through like yield farming. You can lock up some tokens and crypto and stable coins and basically earn yield through, the liquidity pools on our DEX. You can, stake those LPs and earn additional Verse. And I think this is where it's basically just providing a new funnel for users to go from Bitcoin, which has traditionally just been like, you grab it, you hodl it, you just acquire it. People are stacking sats, which is fine. That's cool. But that's kind of like crypto V1. Like, it's cool, but it only gets you so far. And then I think after you've been holding onto this crypto through bull and bear cycles, you start wondering like, well, what the hell can I do with this stuff while it's just like sitting in my wallet? And this is where it's like, okay, you can actually use it. There's certain cryptocurrencies like, Bitcoin Cash, which are obviously focusing on the cash utility aspect for merchants and stuff like that. There's Bitcoin, which is focusing more on the digital gold aspect. And then there's like Ethereum, which is like saying, okay, can we build, a parallel financial system using cryptocurrency? And then you've got these low fee chains that are kind of built off, the back, I guess, of Ethereum, and, trying to do that with a lower fee so that it kind of opens up the exciting opportunities that ETH and DeFi have presented to people all around the world. And Verse is basically there to provide that journey for everyone. So, yeah. We've got the first question here. You ready for this one? This one's from a guy named Vision24. Comes from the Discord. If you're not on Discord yet, you can go sign up there and join our channels at getverse.com. So this first question is, please, how do you guys plan to sustain Verse platform tokenomics in the long run?
Okay, good one. I think it's a good question, right? So I think you could see a lot of coins flame out very quickly. They shine bright for those first couple months or maybe even a year or so, and then flame out. And I guess Terra and UST is the latest example of something that was shining very bright for a long time.
High trajectory, but didn't quite make it.
Yeah, in the long run, it wasn't very sustainable. But I think for us, not number one, we already have an existing place to kind of integrate Verse into, just like the Bitcoin.com wallet, right? So Bitcoin.com wallet already has millions of users that are, taking that first step on the crypto journey, and it's been around since 2013. You know better than me, Corbin. How long has the wallet been around?
The wallet's been around since 2017, but the news inside of stuff has been going since 2014, 2015, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin.com has been here this whole time already, right? So
yeah.
you might have not known that, but been around and basically have been sustained through several bull and bear markets, right? So I think just simply by being kind of this direct integration into the Bitcoin.com wallet, it's going to be a sustainable platform just from that aspect. And then, yeah, I guess I sort of answered some of this stuff earlier, but we do see people going on these kind of multi-year journeys with crypto, right? So basically, if you get involved with Verse, maybe around the time you get your reward, like the first time you bought crypto or something, we do see that if you're going to be still using the Bitcoin.com wallet 2 to 3 years from now or whatever, you're still going to be using Verse and Verse products, right? So at that point, maybe now you're using the Verse DEX, right? And that's huge, right? So that's part of this kind of self-sustaining ecosystem that we can have. And next thing is probably, we talked a little bit too about the multi-chain aspect of it. I think, a lot of people that maybe are discovering Verse for the first time are just thinking, oh, Bitcoin.com, they're a little bit boomer. They're still doing that Bitcoin thing, or only focusing on Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash. But we already have Ethereum. We already have ERC20. We're planning in the next year to make a huge push into being very multi-chain, starting off with smartBCH, but very quickly expanding into other chains. And whatever chain you want to use, I think that's also part of the journey of crypto people. Some people end up being like, I'm all in on X ecosystem. If you're not part of X ecosystem, I don't want to deal with you. And then some people are more like, I like jumping around between this chain or that ecosystem and kind of, using whatever's useful. So we're kind of taking much more of that route of, use whatever's useful, and hopefully the Verse suite of products is kind of available wherever you want to be, whether it's a DEX or,
Yeah, one of the things I find really interesting, just in the last, I guess it's the last year or two with bridges and things like that, is that it seems like there's now, you go back to 2017, 2018, everything around crypto was like tribalism. You had these factions and people might be all in on one coin or another. But with bridges and things like that, we're now seeing this new faction of people who just don't really care. And they're just like, I'm not really a part of anything. I'm kind of like an independent, and I'm just kind of floating around between communities. You're kind of like a freelancer, just kind of saying, I'm moving my money here to play around over there. And, there's some nice yield over here. I think I'll go move some of my bags over there and play over there. And I think obviously there's some, risk with bridges and things like that. We've seen some of the horror stories in the last year with some of them. But, despite that, people are still there's this new growing community of people who just kind of say I don't really care, you can care as much about crypto as much as a generalist versus kind of saying you're all in on one, which I think is something unique just in the last year. And I think, that's just going to grow. I mean, if you were to relate this to car people who obsess over collector cars and stuff like that, if you're a car guy, you might have a preference for I don't know, the old Fords or something like that, but you might still be I'll still hop in a GM, or I'll take a Toyota out for a rip if it's a cool car. And I think that's kind of what we're yeah. I think that's kind of what's happening though, is that you got people that are just I'm just a car guy. I just use crypto. I don't have to be a Ford guy. I don't have to be don't have to be the GM guy. I don't have to be the whatever. You can just kind of enjoy and appreciate the idea of, I don't know, motor mechanics and stuff like that. In this case, I guess it's crypto mechanics or tokenomics. Maybe you could elaborate more on like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to, maybe just talk a little bit about the tokenomics side of things too. I think I kind of talked more about the product and kind of platform, but on the tokenomics side, I think, those are actually going to be very sustainable. We can see that bad tokenomics can lead to, disaster. But I think our tokenomics is pretty good. We structured it to have this kind of unique block by block unlock mechanism. For a lot of token sales, things will be unlocked in sort of like big tranches or have huge preferences for early people or whoever. But we're kind of doing this like slow distribution into the market. So not only is that for people that bought in the token sale, like it's basically for the ecosystem fund, the developer fund, the team fund. It's all basically being unlocked at a similar rate. So there's not going to be any of these like huge supply shocks or anything like that. And we already have like kind of these use cases ready to go, right? So even from today, if you go to the verse.bitcoin.com and go to the analytics page, you'll see the fees being generated by the DEX. And like, we're already planning to earmark some of those fees to be used to reduce the supply of Verse. So already kind of have these deflationary mechanisms built in place. And yeah, overall, we want to be smart about like incentivizing users. So you'll kind of also see, if you go back to like something like Sushi, they kind of had this huge incentivization program from the day one, and kind of like, I don't remember like how much, but 70 or something, like 80% of the supply was kind of like given out at that point. That kind of led to this like supply shock issue where it's like, okay, now what do we do? It's like we already like gave everything out, but we're trying to kind of balance this out more to where we can still have community growth through events and ecosystem grants and things like that, have the supply reduction through things like the Verse DEX, and we're kind of fixing the supply at that 210 billion tokens, which I'm curious if anyone caught the old homage to the 21 million.
The nod to the 21, yeah.
But, that was part of it as well. So yeah, I think there's a lot of things there that can, hopefully be sustainable and really drive ecosystem growth without, anyone thinking, oh, this is going to be a huge team's going to exit at quarter 3 or whatever, because that's when all their tokens unlock. They're done.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. I mean, we're in a good position right now where there's been enough examples of what not to do that we've kind of we're building off of the mistakes of other people, right? And I think that's kind of one of the beautiful things about crypto in general is that the further this thing progresses, the more new things come out, the more innovations come out as a result of it, and then you kind of realize, okay, there's landmines over there, don't go over there, don't do that. There's examples of clear examples, don't do that. So yeah, we've I guess that leads us to this next question here. We've got another one from Discord from Potato. I have a feeling we know who that is. So he asked, who decided the allocation percentage for community?
Yeah, I think on the allocation side, there's a lot of people kind of in the discussions for the tokenomics. So obviously me and Corbin, and then we, have Dennis, our CEO. I'm assuming there's going to be AMAs from a lot of people. And we have, Vitalik, who's our smart contract expert, and he's been in the Solidity and Ethereum space for a super long time. Has been looking, into projects from that angle. And a ton of other people that outside of that as well, from like the product and marketing and business side, legal side. We have a whole team really thinking about how to make these things work. in terms of the actual community allocation, um, basically we have two portions, right? So we have the ecosystem and the community fund, and like that's a total of 69% of the Verse tokens, and those are coming out over the course of 7 years. So those are going to be kind of the longest unlock period. So yeah, that was kind of the who's involved, what the actual allocation of for them, and yeah, the next thing for that is basically to figure out, a really effective ecosystem like grant program, and liquidity mining, or supporting liquidity initiatives and things like that. And we have a team that's, like we said, been around in the crypto space for some people 5 to 10 years, right? And we're just going to keep trying to think of this with like the long-term growth of the ecosystem. And that's, I think, another unique thing about the Verse project in general, right? Like, we don't need to come out swinging and say, okay, we're gonna airdrop 90% of the tokens on day one to get this going. We can really do this a much more thoughtful way, learn from other people's mistakes, and then get that sustainable growth going.
Yeah, exactly. Next question here is from Discord as well. We've got a person from his name is Nex, Nex. How will it be initially distributed? Is it an inflationary, limited amount, or deflationary token? Can you give us some background there?
Yeah, so this kind of good question on percentages. They're obviously in the white paper. Just to recap them, though, I mentioned the 69% for the growth, the ecosystem and development fund. 15% are going to the team. So you can read more about some of the team members in the white paper and on the website, but obviously there's more team members involved as well. We'll have a sale A portion where 10% of the tokens have been allocated for. The sale B portion, which will have the 6%. And did I miss anything? I think that's everything. Yeah, I think
I think the math checks out. Yeah.
Yeah. So that 100% amount. And then basically, so for the distributions, as I mentioned before, we're kind of having this unique block by block, slow drip token distribution. So I think a lot of other projects, they typically have something like an unlock cliff where, on at the end of quarter one, 25% of your tokens are now available to do whatever you want with, which kind of leads to all these tricky scenarios of, are they going to dump, or what are they going to do here? But kind of having a much more gradual rate, I think, is going to have that organic price discovery and things like that. In terms of total supply, it's going to be fixed at that 210 billion. No more is going to be minted, or it's all going to be minted on day one, but it's going to unlock over the course of that 7 years. So after 7 years, everything's going to be unlocked and nothing is going to be minted ever again. And potentially, as I mentioned before, with those burn and the DEX fees and things like that, you might even see the supply, or you will see the total supply decrease over time.
Yep, love it. Maybe a question for you: why did we go with 210 billion instead of 21 million or a smaller number?
I think, I think a lot of people really enjoy having a lot of tokens.
More is better.
Myself as well. There's something a little bit more satisfying about having, 1 million Doge over I got 0.00043 BCH or something like that, or Bitcoin or something like that. It's not as fun. And then obviously I kind of mentioned that homage to Satoshi. And yeah, like, over time, hopefully we can see, I think the initial, like I said, the initial value is going to be that 210, but it's going to keep decreasing from there. And, so everybody can get a good amount of tokens for themselves and store them in their Bitcoin.com wallet.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you feel about 210 billion, Corbin?
I like it, man. I honestly, I prefer unit bias. I think for normal people have a hard time understanding that you can own like a decimal point of a crypto, and like there's enough really silly like user experience hurdles in crypto for normal people to get over, that if you can reduce those by just saying we'll just print more, and like use a bigger number, I think it kind of helps. Like onboarding to crypto is hard. Explaining that they're going to own 0.001 of something and that it has the value of something else is kind of harder, I think, for some people to wrap their heads around. So just, throw in that big number in it. It has more aesthetics to normal people, I think.
I think it also, it's like a mix though too, because then you have other stuff like, I don't know, Shiba Inu, which is worth like 0.000. It might be worth like, they have like 20 trillion or something. It's like $0.00001.
Yeah.
So you gotta like kind of strike a balance between those two. Like you can't have it like too much in that direction.
Yeah, otherwise you're dealing with these weird decimals and dollars that people aren't used to seeing, and it's like, I didn't know the dollar could go that low. Cool. Next question's from Atux from Discord. Will there be a pre-sale?
Yeah, so we have a sale A, private sale. It's in the white paper as well. That was wrapped up a few weeks ago. Well, so that is finished. We raised we sold $33.6 million worth of tokens. Couple names there, big names probably have heard of: Digital Strategy, blockchain.com, KuCoin Ventures. A lot of angel purchasers were involved there as well. So a lot of those people are people that really want to take an active role in the community, want to help with their network, their resources to get Verse into their channels, do some cross promotion things from their end. I'm super excited about all the partners that got purchased in that sale A. So yeah, that's kind of the update. Any other updates you want to give from your end on that one?
Yeah, I guess, some people I saw asking in Telegram a while ago was, who got into sale A? And I think, you mentioned some of the big names. I think we made a conscious effort to work our network for people that had the similar vision for crypto as Bitcoin.com. And I think that's kind of important for us to being able to, fulfill our goal for supporting more economic freedom in the world and making sure crypto is as user-friendly and useful for the most amount of people in the world. So, from our end, it was we had to strike this balance of bringing in people, we trust, bringing in people, that can provide good value early on. And, I think the interesting thing is they didn't really get the biggest sweetheart deal. We're going to be releasing a little bit more details regarding the sale B mechanics, but ultimately, there's a chance that, the dynamic pricing could actually play in sale B's favor as well. So the people in sale A did take a little bit of a risk here. It wasn't like they were given a promissory, you're going to get an instant, 2x or something like that. It's sort of kind of depends on what happens with sale B, which I think is an interesting model for our coin and kind of does support, the more fair model that we've really baked into the block by block side of stuff. So from my end, it's sort of striking that balance of we want to support our sale A buyers. We want to support our sale B buyers, but we don't want to make it so unfair that it's just unappealing or unappetizing to anyone coming in. And I think the other thing is that with Bitcoin.com, we get a lot of new people into crypto, and we just want to make sure that the folks that are going to join sale B are this might be the first opportunity to participate in a token sale. And I think if we can make that as pleasant of an experience as possible, then I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. And then one thing outside of the people we kind of mentioned earlier, a ton of people at Bitcoin.com, are going to be on this journey with everybody else that purchased in the token sale. I think both from the sale B and sale A perspective. So, it's not like a pre-mine like situation either, where it's like, oh, how about we just how about this portion just take for free? There's a lot of people at Bitcoin.com kind of itching to jump on this opportunity kind of as well.
Yeah, I think obviously with all the Bitcoin.com folks working here, we've all been getting paid in crypto for years now. And I think there's already a lot of skin in the game. But with Verse, it does provide, a lot of our staff and our contractors and, people working with us the ability to really buy in on the long-term future for Bitcoin.com and for Verse. And I think it's a testament, to what we've got with our team, because everyone's super excited for this. We've got some new swag being shipped to the office that I've seen a few people taking some photos of. So everyone's pretty hyped for what's about to come. So it's kind of the new chapter at Bitcoin.com, but it's it's in support of all the original goals of Bitcoin.com. And I think we've got a great brand, a great domain name, and now we've got this new Verse brand that also provides us with the way to start targeting more people that are a little bit more further down their crypto journey. But in addition to that, kind of level up some of our users towards Web3 and DeFi, which I think is it's going to be really cool. We got another question here from Andy A from Discord. How will we know the value of Verse tokens?
It's a good question. Is with any crypto, it's going to be worth between 0 and infinity. That's going to be the price.
Yeah, it's a tough question.
I guess on a more serious, ultimately the market's going to decide what the value of those Verse tokens are in terms of the sale mechanics. We have this dynamic pricing on sale B. So we're basically already letting the market decide from that point on. And the moment sale B is going to be done, we're going to be working to get it listed on some successful centralized exchanges. Get that in the hand. So for people that weren't able or didn't want to participate in sale B, they're going to be able to start trading it on centralized exchanges. We're going to have it on pricing aggregators like CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko. So you'll be able to check there. You'll be able to do your daily refresh on CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap or whatever you're using.
Are you still a daily refresher? I've kind of fallen out of the habit of it, to be honest. I just maybe it's just like that.
It's because it's a bear market, maybe. Right?
Maybe it's the bear market. That's it. Yeah, you're totally right. It's things have kind of cooled down, so I'm kind of I don't really need bad news. It's okay.
So you'll be able to check there, and then we're going to get it listed in the wallet. Obviously, have it there. We're going to have it obviously on our Verse DEX, and so on. And then the other thing we kind of talked about the price per token. But definitely also pay attention to that. I think, a lot of people maybe mix up sort of the circulating valuation and that fully diluted valuation. So I think we've kind of consistently used that fully diluted valuation. But because of that linear unlock mechanism, that's initial circulating supply. It's going to be super low, right? So, you're going to see maybe, if you go to CoinMarketCap, they always have that number, which is the market cap. And then it's 10 million. And then you look at the fully diluted market cap and it's 500 trillion. You're wait a second.
Something's weird. Yeah.
Something's not right here. So we're trying to communicate mainly from the fully diluted, that 210 billion amount from day one. So people, don't get shocked or have some sort of so people can have a better understanding of kind of the value of their Verse tokens.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a question on Twitter from Yellow Rose of CX in line to what you were just talking about. He's asking, why is the starting market cap so high at $500 million? Which I think is probably something he saw in the white paper.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, perfect. Literally perfect segue. So, as I mentioned, we're kind of using that fully diluted valuation or number, right? So that is going to be the price of all the 210 billion tokens. Is that 500 million number? Which I'm not sure if that's 100% correct, but it's probably around that number. And that even then, you're looking at maybe like page 3 of like coin market cap and stuff like that. So I think it's pretty fair. And if we're going to go with the circulating number, now you're looking in that day one, it's going to be in that 100 million or something range, right? So because
what page would that be on?
I don't know, not far down the list, right? So
for sure.
I think some people might be scared by that number or something like, when I buy a token sale, the valuation's only $10 million. It's like, well, yes, but there's a caveat to that.
Yeah.
So, we're trying to be very, very clear on that, kind of in line with that fair distribution. We don't have any unlocks. And if you just look at some comparable projects, I think we're, in our white paper, we're pretty similar to like the FTX utility token or the BNB utility token or the CRO utility token. And, I don't know what FDBs they're trading at, but over $1 billion for sure.
Yeah.
A lot over $1 billion.
I think like if you're not mindful of the FDV, the fully diluted valuation, I guess, is that right?
Yeah.
I think like it can create problems, and we've seen that in the past. There was a project on Solana called Serum, which was a DEX project. It was like great project, good tech, it's fine. But at one point their FDV was like around $75 billion, which was higher than the 3 most popular DEXs, like across Uniswap, SushiSwap, and Curve combined. So it was just like, it's pretty bold. It's a pretty bold like statement to make, but it likely wasn't like intentionally made. It just like wasn't maybe calculated into their tokenomics, or if it was just like, whew, you guys got big kahunas.
Yeah, so hopefully we get more accurate in there, but we'll see. But the market ultimately decides everything, right? So
yeah. Next question is from General Luga. That's a tough one to say. What are the features you think will make people choose a Verse DEX over other DEXs out there?
Yeah, I think number one, it's going to be the number one DEX in the Bitcoin.com wallet. I think people, if you haven't already, definitely try out the swap feature in the Bitcoin.com wallet. Currently, we're working with some great partners like SideShift and Change Now, but we kind of also, and they're focusing more on the cross-chain swaps and things like that. But we're going to have the DEX, our DEX, integrated directly in there. So when people are doing, I don't know, a same chain, potentially cross-chain in the future, a same chain swap from like, I don't know, ETH to USDC or smartBCH to FlexUSD or like whatever. They're going to be doing that directly from the wallet. And I think that because we'll have this like steady user base, that's going to attract a lot of liquidity, and then the liquidity providers are going to earn in Verse tokens, and then we're going to be using our portion of that to decrease Verse tokens, so the liquidity providers are probably going to be incentivized to hold those.
Yeah.
So I think we have both. The DEX side is always two-sided market, right? Like you got to get the liquidity providers want to stake with you, and you got to get the users. I think we're already there with kind of like the users, and then we'll kind of work to grow those liquidity providers. Obviously we're going to have that liquidity mining program already. Already you're getting the 0.25% of just fees in general, and then on top of that, we're going to incentivize some top pools with Verse tokens to bootstrap that growth. yeah, I mean, I think finally we just have like a great team, programmers, designers. We're been in the space for a super long time, so it's going to feel great. If you're maybe just tuning in because you heard about Verse and haven't ever used Bitcoin.com, I definitely recommend it. Try it out. I'm pretty confident we have that kind of best UX in the market, and I think you're going to see in the next couple months or so us expand very quickly to the entire cryptoverse. So yeah, I think that's a couple points there for sure.
Yeah, I think like just to jump into one of the things that you and I have talked about a little bit was, we're pretty aware that there's like I don't know, there's a lot of competition heating up in the wallet space. We're kind of seeing like the early days of, I guess, wallet wars. Kind of in the old days, there was the browser wars. Seems like that same kind of idea is kind of breaking out here into crypto, where like, you're competing for, the best wallet for capturing assets under management. And I think like this is something that from a non-custodial perspective is really important for us. Like we want to ensure that we're bringing in as many people as possible. The good news is we've got possibly one of the most valuable domain names on the planet with Bitcoin.com. So we've got a ton of new users coming in. And by being able to kind of, nudge them through our onboarding and ensure that when they are doing any of the swaps, that they're doing them, as often as possible when applicable to do them through the Verse DEX. We immediately have a ton of users coming through this platform without having to really do any marketing at all. So Verse is kind of set up in a really unique position right now with, we've got 30 million wallets created. We've got 5 million monthly active users. We've got like ton of interest, more chains coming, which means more people coming. So from my perspective, it's like, not even just about like the features, but also just about like how much attention can you capture? And I think we're there to capture a lot. And I think Verse is going to benefit from that the most. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll follow up on your follow up too. I think like with especially when you're a user of a DEX too, like at the end of the day, you don't care too much. Like you just kind of want to do your trade, right? Like you don't really care if it's like in the back end using this liquidity pool or that liquidity pool or whatever. And I think that the Bitcoin.com stuff really is underrated in that sense, where it's just like, if I'm already using this as my wallet, I'm not going to go to this other website and like put in my private key or something to make this trade because of whatever. If it's directly integrated, I just want to do it there and be done, right? So these direct integrations, they're just going to kind of create, I think, a great flywheel for the in general.
Yeah, I mean, like if I was given the choice between just doing a swap in the app or having to like pull out my camera, do a wallet connect, and or connect through like a DApp through the web, I'm more likely to just do the one that's presented to me. It's just, and I think most people are that way, unless there's a real, specific reason why you prefer one. Maybe you're, I don't know, trying to scoop up airdrops or something like that. I think, we're in a great position here. So next question here we've got from Ryan Val 14 on Twitter. I missed one here. We're going to go back. We're going to go back to Jasper. Sorry, Jasper. Twitter, Jasper Warren 14. Will the Verse token be a utility or meme token? I'm also curious to find out if Verse will be proof of stake or proof of work.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I think why not both? Utility and memes, they can go hand in hand. A meme is a utility.
Absolutely.
I guess, more seriously, it's obviously a utility token. So it's for the Bitcoin.com and the Verse ecosystem. As we kind of mentioned, all these direct integrations we want to do, get rewards for using stuff, reduced fees, if you're holding or staking. And another thing that I think is going to be kind of fun and exciting on the utility aspect is, I think, we haven't mentioned this like very much at all, but all our sale B buyers are going to be eligible for a Verse NFT as well. So you're it's already getting utility out of it by purchasing Verse. You're going to get this unique Verse NFT as well. And I think like over time, we're going to keep expanding that space as well. Because kind of as you mentioned, right, like if these wallet wars are kind of heating up and this is going to be your base, I don't know, base application for a lot of crypto stuff. NFTs are going to be part of that. You can already see with all the profile pictures, having your like unique blockchain identity and things like that. And yeah, I think we'll just keep kind of looking into the market and expanding the utility from there. There's a ton of stuff in the white paper. I really encourage everyone to take a good long read at the white paper. We got a ton of utility stuff planned out. We were also talking about card and things like that as well. So in terms of proof of stake versus proof of work, so we're not currently planning on doing our own blockchain yet, I guess. But yeah, we're constantly just trying to find ways to innovate in the space. And as we talk about, we're always thinking that multi-chain future. And if our own, Verse blockchain is something, that would kind of accelerate that mission. Definitely open to that as well. Probably more on definitely wouldn't be proof of work. I can say that. And then, yeah, for the memes, I guess just you can join the Telegram and Discord. The memes are happening there. So if you like memes, hop in.
We've got Telegram sticker packs and Pepe's and you name it. It's great.
I've got my own sticker.
Yeah. You made it. Okay, this one's from Ryan Val. I kind of skipped over you again. So since Verse will be deployed on the Ethereum chain and possibility to be on smartBCH and a few others, are you planning on expanding to other chains such as Avalanche, BNB chain, FTM? What's the plan for multi-chain?
Yeah, for sure, we're trying to expand to like all of them, basically. So I talked about this at the very kind of early beginning of the AMA. We want Verse to be the center kind of your crypto experience, regardless if you're this, I only want to use this chain or I want to hop between them, right? So let's just kind of go to that Verse Dex again as an example where, when you go to swap, it needs to be seamless enough to figure out, what coins you have, where you want to trade them to. I want to trade, on the Avalanche chain or the smartBCH chain or whatever, and get AVAX or Trader Joe or like whatever. There's a lot of things under the hood that we're going to be doing to make that happen. So you'll see later in this year kind of this first push into multi-chain. And for the token itself, we're actually looking a lot on the bridging side of things. Bridging is obviously like a tricky technology, kind of like a high risk honeypot, as we've seen with several bridges to date. So we just need to figure out, we need to make that, really safe for our users. That's something we take very seriously. And obviously we want to get like Verse on with the Verse token on it as many chains as quickly as possible, but we also want to make sure that it's secure, safe, and so on and so forth. We're focusing a lot on the EVM side of things. That's kind of proven to be the gold standard, I think, for kind of the consensus protocols, or I guess say the contract protocols and things like that. In the future, you might see us hop on some layer 2s and things like that if things start expanding into that direction. So a lot of exciting kind of innovations and chains coming up. So if we see some great explosive growth of Solana, you'll probably see Verse on Solana and so on and so forth.
Do you feel like leaking any alpha? Do we want to hint as to, well, maybe we can just say what chains do you like, Andre? Yeah. What are some of your favorite chains? Let's just say that.
Yeah. Giving me out, man. I use a lot. I think I've used like almost everything at this point, right? But I do like the fact when things are relatively compatible with Ethereum. I think most people kind of have probably their ETH account just kind of their like main thing if they're like deep in the crypto space. But yeah, I've hopped around to Polygon and Avalanche and Phantom and smartBCH obviously as well. So all of them great. smartBCH definitely has the lowest fees right now. So and it's got the first pilot of the Verse DEX. So I've been using that a lot. So make sure to check that out if you haven't done so yet.
Yeah, it's a good fun place to kind of play around. And yeah, I've been collecting my NFTs and JPEGs there. That's where my JPEG collection is. I actually I think I own like 1 or 2 NFTs on ETH, but yeah, I got priced out. So now I collect JPEGs on cheap chains because that's all I can afford. So next question we've got here is from Paolo Rowe, a whole bunch of numbers. What can you see in Verse after 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be kind of that one-stop shop for your crypto needs. We've also taken the I think Bitcoin.com in general has always taken the approach of being like decentralized first, right? And maybe still to this day, most people are onboarding through centralized exchanges and things like that. But we want to onboard people directly to their decentralized wallets, and from there they can go and experience all these things with these marketplaces, NFTs, DEXs, trading, borrowing, lending, yield farming, and more, right? So the Bitcoin.com wallet kind of needs to be a gateway for all of these applications, and the Verse side of things needs to be like building all these applications there, right? So we're starting with the Verse DEX as like our first decentralized integrated app, and the next thing, undecided, but you could see something like a Verse lending protocol where you can borrow with a direct integration in the app. So kind of creating that healthy economy inside of the wallet application is definitely something I'd love to see in the next 2 years. And after 2 years, maybe we do start thinking about our own chain.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, that's kind of the interesting thing is like nobody knows what the future holds for crypto. So like 6 months from now, the whole game can change. A year from now, it could be it's just a totally different landscape. And I think, by being multi-chain friendly, it does put us strategically in a position where we're ready for whatever, the crypto ecosystem throws at us, or laws and regulations, or just new things. There's going to be new chains that emerge. There's going to be new things that come up. It's my opinion that, Bitcoin's a great cryptocurrency, but is it the most innovative? No. I mean, we're seeing a lot more new chains come in, and I think, crypto is not over with Bitcoin. It's not over with Ethereum. It's not over with any of the things we have now. Like 5 years from now, there's going to be new stuff coming out. There's bigger brains than me working on very complicated problems that I think are going to come up with some cool solutions. So yeah, us just being supportive and available to kind of pivot and work with whatever new technologies emerge. It's kind of the smartest play for Verse and for Bitcoin.com.
Yeah.
I think that's all we've got, Andre. Do you anything else to add?
No, I think this is super fun. Thanks to everyone from the community for some great questions. Hope you got some good answers. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more AMAs in the future as we kind of lead up to this. So yeah, thanks for having me on. Yeah,
thanks for joining, man. Everyone else, I guess, just make sure you get whitelisted if you are planning on participating in the Verse token sale. Go to getverse.com. You can also visit bitcoin.com, where we'll have some banners and links and stuff there as well. Obviously for a token sale, you will have to pass KYC, so we recommend passing that stuff early before the token sale actually kicks off. We are estimating it to kick off in June. We're kind of leaving the exact date open for now, but we will start honing in on that date quite soon. So yeah, go check out getverse.com, sign up to get notified about announcements, join the Telegram, join the Discord. We'll be putting out announcements there. You can chat with guys like Andre or myself. And if you have any other questions, just hit us up. That's it. Cool.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Thanks, man. We'll talk soon. See you guys.